Ladies, when done right, selling is so easy to do, and it doesn't matter whether your product and service is sold at $1 or all the way to $100,000. In fact, research shows that when it comes to the decision making, pricing usually has very little bearing on the decision of saying yes or no. Hi, I am Aline Bender, and in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 simple, easy steps to follow that you got to plug in your sales presentation so that it's going to feel like the sales are just falling into your lap, as they ought to. The biggest mistake that I see sales professionals and entrepreneurs do during their sales presentation when they're working with a potential client and a lead is that, yes, maybe they'll do a little bit of warm-up first during the sales presentation, but then they go right into as to why they ought to do business with them and as to why their product and service is the best on the market. And I get it, maybe it's because you're excited and you can't wait to share with them, or maybe you're a little bit nervous, so you maybe small talk is not your thing, so you want to go right into what your expert is, which is your service and your product, which I completely understand. And there may be other reasons why as well that you're doing this, and it could also have been bad and poor sales training or habits. But in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 simple steps, because if once you follow this, it's going to make selling so much easier and especially more enjoyable. The first step in your sales presentation after the greeting and the warm-up is to ask key questions. And the reason to ask key questions is that you want to get your PCs to think big. And I mean big to the point where they're seeing their vision for themselves that they normally would not have unless you ask those questions. So the questions could start off by either a closing question, which is either a yes or a no. And the idea is you want to get them to be able to say a few yeses and a few nos. Because no, it does something to us psychologically, which helps us alleviate pressure. And so maybe in their mind, they already know that you're going to ask them to purchase something. They know it's a sales presentation. They know that they are a lead to you or potential client. So for them to be able to say no a few times makes them feel more at ease because they already had planned to say no to you in the first place. And then the yeses also helps balance out. It makes them go through an experience where they're feeling more balanced and more grounded. So the no questions could be, would you like something to eat? And let's say that you had donuts, or let's say that you had muffins, and you already know that they've already eaten, but just ask them anyway, because ultimately they're going to say no to you. Oh no, thank you, I just ate breakfast. You know they did, but you just need them to say no again on something small like that. Or would you like me to turn up or turn down the AC? Oh no, I'm fine, thank you. So they say no again. So find small reasons for them to say no again, just because you're going to help them relax a bit more. And then the yeses would be, are you having a great time with XYZ? When you already know that they are having a good time, let's say they're vacationing somewhere, and what you're selling has to do with vacationing. So let's say they're in Hawaii. Are you having a great time in Hawaii? Yes. Are you loving this warm weather in Hawaii? Yes. Are you loving the warm ocean in the water, the blue clean water? Yes. Again, you're helping them balance out. It's kind of like yin and yang. Once you've done that part, that's just a small part asking key questions. You want to go and level up your questions to a higher level. A high level would be, for example, asking them an open question. An open question, so let's say again, you're selling something that has to do with vacations, and let's say you're selling vacation ownership like I did back in Hawaii for Wyndham. So you're asked a question something like, well, let me ask you this, based on your vacation right now and how your vacation, I mean, it's amazing you're already in Hawaii, and I congratulate you for doing that, because most people don't get here ever in their life, or if they do, they wait until their 50th birthday. And you look young to me, so I congratulate you for making it here sooner. I usually, literally, that was one of my compliments, because I do applaud them for doing that, because everything I just said is true. And so then from there, you want to up your question by asking, let me ask you this, since you're already having a great vacation, if you could make it even better, what would that look like? What would that feel like? Where would you go? What would you experience? Those are open questions, because then they're going to start visualizing, and they're going to start thinking, well, And then I'm going to add in also some conditions. Okay, let's imagine that money was not in the way. And for fun, let's make a game out of this. And let's imagine that also time has no issues either. And you have no obligations. Wouldn't that be wonderful? But let's just imagine that for a moment. What will your vacations be like and where would you go? And we play this game and they will start thinking even bigger and bigger. And what allows them to do, again, you're taking them on experience, and what you're doing realistically in step 1 is you're doing a give. You're giving to them. You're giving them something that most people don't do, which is ask them bigger questions so they can start thinking even bigger for themselves. And it's amazing what's going to happen because they're going to reconnect to what their true desire and what their bliss are that usually gets bombarded because of all these obligations that whether it's put on them or they put on themselves, or a lot of times it has to do with them feeling not deserving of living those true visions. But what you're doing is you're giving them a give because you're allowing them for that moment with someone who cares like yourself to give them the space to think out loud and to be heard and to be listened to. So that's step 1. That is helping them with key questions, getting them to the bigger picture, which ultimately gets them to a bigger vision. Now that you've gotten your PCs to feel inspired, to feel excited about what's possible for them, you're going to do step 2. In step 2, you're going to do another give. And what this give is you're going to help them and give them tips on what they already have. So again, let's go back to vacation ownership. So usually what I used to do is once now that you got your PCs to think big and to feel excited about this vision that you helped them come up with, now that you've got your PCs in a great space where they feel excited, where they're amazed by their vision, now that you got your PCs in a space where they feel excited about what's possible for them, and now that they know of the vision that you helped them create, now that you've got your PCs in a space where they're excited and they can see now this vision that they probably never seen before because you helped them get there, you're ready to give them step number 2. And step number 2 is another give, and this is a big one as well. What you're going to do is you're going to give them a tip to help them enhance what they currently have without your product and without your service. So for example, in my case, let's go back to using vacation ownership again. What I used to do is I used to upgrade people who already own and win them vacation ownership. Now that you've got your PCs in a space where they're excited about their future, what's possible for them, and that you've helped them create this vision for themselves, you are ready to give them step number 2. And then step number 2, it's a big give because what you're going to do is you're going to give them a tip or some kind of information or some kind of resources or some kind of maybe strategy to help them with what they currently have without using your product or service. So let me break that down a little bit. Let's go back to me selling vacation ownership. I used to deal with people who already own a piece of Wyndham or vacation ownership. They already own the package. And my job was to work with them to see if they wanted to upgrade to owning even more. And so what I did at this point in step 2, now that I saw their vision and they got to experience what they really want for themselves, I took a look at their ownership and see how I could help them get that with what they currently have without purchasing any more. I know this sounds crazy, right? Because you might be thinking, but Aline, I don't want to do that. I need to show them that they need my product or they need more of what I have or they need my service. Just bear with me for a moment. This works beautifully because again, you're coming from a place of wanting to serve them and they're going to feel that. So what I did is I would look at their ownership and I would look at ways that, well, let's see how you're using it and you're not maximizing it. And let's see if you even need to purchase more because maybe you don't. And when I said that to them, they were just blown away. No sales professional has ever told them this before. Wow, this person is different. This person wants me to win. She really cares. And she just heard what I want and the vision that I have for myself. And she wants to help me make it come true with what I currently have. Wow, she has my trust. She has my ear. And possibly she may even have my wallet and she doesn't even know that yet. So that is step number 2. Help them, give them some kind of tip on what they can do with what they currently have. Now that you've done step number 1, which you ask them key questions so that they could realize their vision, you've done step number 2, which again you gave to them, which you gave them a resource or some kind of tips so that they could use what they currently have to get more what they want. You're ready for step number 3. And step number 3 is where you get to ask. I teach a lot about yin and yang, finding out the balance, and really what it comes down to is creating fair exchanges, which I also wrote in my book. Fair exchange is important so that you not only give to your potential clients, but you also have them give back to you. And that's how you can elevate your business and elevate your income and elevate yourself, and therefore elevate your potential clients and your future clients as well. So going back to step number 3 is going to be huge for you, because when you did step number 2, when you gave a tip, when you give them a resource, they realized that it was not enough for them to realize the vision that they just shared with you. Do you see what I just said? I'm going to repeat that again. When you did step number 2, when you gave them a tip and you wanted to show them how they could realize their vision or their bigger picture, without having your product or your service, but just using what they currently have, they realize themselves that there's a problem. They realize themselves that the future does not really going to support their vision that they share with you, because they realize that what they currently have is not enough. It's not going to get them there. And guess what will get them there? Step number 3, which is your offering, which is your offering of your service, your product, and you're going to share with them how that's going to help them build their bigger vision for themselves. And that's how sales is made so easy. It's just following these 3 simple steps. So let's review one more time, because this is a big one. Step number 1 is you're asking key questions after you do the greeting and the warm-up. And the key questions start off with maybe a yes or no. They're called closed questions, and you eventually want to elevate those key questions to an open questions so that you can let them get to the point where they're thinking bigger, to the point where they're seeing a bigger vision for themselves. And then step number 2 is another give that you give to them, which is some kind of resources or a tip or tool to help them with what they currently have. But again, in step number 2, that's when they realize that they have a problem because they don't have enough in order to realize their vision and their big dream that they have for themselves now. And step number 3 is where you get to do the big ask for yourself. It's that fair exchange now. Now it's your turn to gain, because you have helped them with the step number 2. Now it's their turn to contribute as well, and technically meet you halfway, so that you can give them the product and the service so that they can realize the vision that they want for themselves. That's how sales is made so easy. And the reason why I don't believe in closing the deals or closing the client is because I never had to. I follow these 3 steps, and guess what? It feels like the sales just fall on my lap. And that's the way selling ought to feel like for your clients and for yourself. To avoid missing out on sales tools like you've learned in this video that can help you with your sales production, your income, and your business, make sure to subscribe to this channel and make a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Again, this is Aline, your sales mentor. Thank you for watching. Mahalo and many blessings.